In one corner, we have the rubbery, stretchy, and endlessly imaginative Monkey D. Luffy, the iconic captain of the Straw Hat Pirates from One Piece. And in the other corner, we have the slime turned demon lord Rimuru Tempest from that time I got reincarnated as a slime. It's a showdown that would make fan forums explode and meme pages go wild. So, without further ado, let the real action begin. Luffy with his Drums of Liberation Gear 5 form, bouncing around like a rubber ball, ready to take on anything that comes his way. His opponent? Well, let's just say Rimuru has a few tricks up his sleeve, or rather in his slimy arsenal. Luffy's Gear 5 brings a whole new meaning to the term cartoonish powers. He can turn his surroundings into rubber, summon objects out of thin air like a magical baseball bat, and even grab lightning bolts as if they were merely party favors. His Toon Force knows no bounds. But Rimuru isn't just any slime monster. He's evolved into a true demon lord, complete with a plethora of powers that can make even the most seasoned anime protagonist quiver. Flight? Check. Advanced magic? Double check. The ability to absorb and use the powers of his enemies? Triple check. It's like trying to fight a never-ending slime monster with a rubber sword. Good luck, Luffy. The battle is like watching a chaotic cartoon collide with a well-orchestrated anime battle. And the result? Pure entertainment gold. Luffy, our adventurous pirate friend, gets his powers from chomping down on a devil fruit, turning him into a rubber man with stretchy limbs. He's got moves like Gum Gum Pistol and Bazooka, making him a real stretchy force to be reckoned with. On the other side, Rimuru rocks the Universal Detect skill, basically turning into a walking radar with super senses. Plus, Rimuru can shapeshift into anything, from a dragon to a salt shaker. Imagine the possibilities. Now, what happens when these powers collide? Picture this, Luffy goes all Gum Gum on Rimuru, but Rimuru's like, not today, and shifts into something unexpected, dodging Luffy's rubbery attacks with ease. Luffy might try Gear 2 for that speed boost, but Rimuru's Universal Space Shift gives him the upper hand in adapting to any situation. Luffy's rubbery moves are cool, but Rimuru's shapeshifting versatility takes the cake. Now, we have Luffy with his Gear 3, turning him into a human balloon. It's like a circus act gone pirate. With this gear, he can smash through structures like they're made of paper mache. However, there's a catch. After he deflates, he's stuck in a mini mode for a bit. It's like a deflating bouncy castle, but with more pirate flair. On the other side, we've got Rimuru rocking the multi-layer barrier and infinite regeneration combo. It's like having a force field and Wolverine's healing powers rolled into one slimy package. Rimuru can bounce back from almost anything. Luffy's punches might dent Rimuru's barriers, but with infinite regeneration, Rimuru could just slime his way back to full strength. It's like trying to pop a balloon that keeps reinflating. Rimuru's combo gives him the upper hand. He's like the Energizer Bunny of battles, bouncing back stronger each time. Sorry Luffy, but you can't outbounce a slime demon lord. But what about Luffy with his Nightmare Luffy form, sounding like something straight out of a spooky bedtime story? Nightmare Luffy's got this thing where he can gobble up shadows like a midnight snack, stacking them up to get super sized and super strong. Imagine Luffy, but with the strength of 100 shadows. That's some serious muscle power right there. But Rimuru Tempest is the teleportation pro. This slime-turned super being can zip around like nobody's business, but there's a catch. He's gotta know the place first. It's like having Google Maps in your brain. Now, if Nightmare Luffy and Rimuru ever crossed paths, things would get wild. Luffy all beefed up with shadow strength, ready to throw down, and Rimuru zipping in and out, playing teleportation tag. It'd be like a game of cat and mouse, but with a giant, super-powered cat and a teleporting mouse. But Rimuru might just have the upper hand. Why? Because while Luffy's nightmare form is fearsome, Rimuru's teleportation game is like a tactical ninja move. He could dance circles around Nightmare Luffy, making him swing at shadows while Rimuru pops in and out, landing strategic hits. Nightmare Luffy brings the muscle, but Rimuru's got the brains and the moves to keep him on his toes, or slimes in this case. Now, Luffy comes in with his Gear 4 Tankman form, ready to rumble, and Rimuru with his bag of tricks including Universal Shapeshift, Universal Detect, and that fancy multi-layer barrier. First off, Tankman Luffy is like a walking buffet. He eats crackers, biscuits, soldiers like they're snacks at a movie marathon. Imagine being so hungry during a fight that you turn into a tank-sized ball of unstoppable hunger. Now, Rimuru's Universal Shapeshift is no slouch either. Want to be a dragon? Sure. A salt shaker? Why not? This guy can transform into anything, even a convincing human form for those casual city strolls. It's like having a whole Halloween costume store in your pocket. But here's where things get interesting. What happens when Tankman Luffy charges at Rimuru, who's busy turning into a dragon or a fortress? Tankman might bounce off like a rubber ball hitting a brick wall, but Rimuru's got that Universal Detect, like a magical radar on steroids. So, while Luffy is bouncing around, Rimuru is sensing every move, every hiccup in the magic around. Now, Rimuru's multi-layer barrier adds a layer of defense. Luffy's punches might pack a wallop, but trying to break through Rimuru's magical shield is like trying to breakdance on a bed of nails. Not recommended. But Rimuru's versatility and strategic skills might just give him the upper hand. But hey, Luffy always finds a way to bounce back, even if it means bouncing off a magical slime fortress. Now, we have Luffy with his Gear 4 transformations, Snake Man and Boundman. Snake Man brings a graceful yet powerful fighting style with punches that can change speed and direction mid-flight. It's like watching a snake strike, but with a lot more flair. On the other hand, Boundman turns Luffy into a bouncing powerhouse, packing lightning-fast attacks that even surprise his foes. Now, Rimuru enters the scene with Wisdom King Raphael, which basically turns Rimuru into a super smart strategist. Imagine having 1,000 brains working together to outwit your opponent. Plus, Rimuru's infinite regeneration makes him nearly invincible. But Rimuru's universal detect turns him into a living radar, sensing everything around him with pinpoint accuracy. And let's not forget spatial motion, giving Rimuru teleportation-like abilities that can confuse and outmaneuver anyone. Now, what happens if these powers collide? Luffy's boundless energy meets Rimuru's strategic genius. Luffy's punches may land fast and furious, but Rimuru's infinite regeneration keeps him in the game. Rimuru's universal detect would see every move coming, while spatial motion could keep Rimuru one step ahead, teleporting around like a mischievous ghost. While Luffy brings the hype with his explosive moves, Rimuru's combination of brains, bronze, and teleportation would likely give him the upper hand. After all, his brains and strategy can outlast even the most powerful punches. Now, it's time for what you're waiting for, Gear 5. Luffy's Gear 5 is like the wildest dreams of a cartoonist come true. Imagine if Bugs Bunny gained superpowers and decided to take on the world. It's that level of zaniness. He can turn his surroundings into rubber, summon lightning bolts, and basically anything his wacky imagination conjures up becomes reality. On the other hand, with abilities like infinite regeneration, universal detect, and spatial motion, Rimuru is not going down. He's like a one-slime army. Need to heal from any injury? Want to sniff out trouble from a mile away? Teleport behind you for a surprise attack? Rimuru's got everything covered. But here's where the real fun begins. Luffy's Gear 5 turns everything into a cartoonish playground. Luffy, all stretched out thanks to his rubbery Gear 5 powers, squaring up against Rimuru, the magical slime with powers that make even the wildest fantasies seem tame. As the battle kicks off, Rimuru launches a dazzling array of magical assaults, each one packing enough punch to make even the toughest opponents think twice. But here's where things get interesting. Luffy isn't dodging these attacks, he's turning them into something straight out of a cartoon. A menacing fireball becomes a harmless fireworks show, and a deadly ice shard transforms into a giant snow cone, which Luffy promptly enjoys to beat the heat of battle. And just when Rimuru thinks he's got the upper hand, Luffy flips the script and sends these cartoonified attacks right back at him, leaving Rimuru scratching his head in disbelief. The scene is set for an epic showdown, a clash of rubbery resilience and slimy sorcery that would have even the most serious anime fans chuckling. As Rimuru unleashes a massive magical blast, Luffy might just puff himself up like a balloon, letting the attack bounce harmlessly off him. Or maybe he'll suck it in and shoot it back out with a pop, catching Rimuru off guard. But Rimuru, with his immense magical talent, he might find a way to turn Luffy's cartoonishness against him, adding an extra layer of humor to the fight. But Rimuru's multi-layer barrier and cancel pain might throw a wrench into that rubbery world. Imagine Luffy trying to grab a cloud or summon a giant bat, only to find it bouncing off Rimuru's magical barriers like a rubber ball off a wall. And while Luffy's busy being his joyful, goofy self, Rimuru could be plotting the perfect counterattack with a strategic mind accelerated by Wisdom King Raphael. Luffy, in his bouncy Gear 5 form, faces off against Rimuru, who's ready to unleash a storm of powers. As Luffy tries to grab lightning or turn things into rubber, Rimuru's multi-layer barrier deflects the attacks effortlessly. Luffy's cartoonish antics might amuse Rimuru for a moment, but then comes the real showdown. Rimuru Tempest boasts a diverse array of abilities thanks to his absorption powers and evolution into a true demon lord. His replication ability not only allows him to create copies, but also harness the powers of his foes, giving him a vast arsenal to draw from. Flight, advanced magic including lightning manipulation, and heartless control over souls showcase Rimuru's versatility and strategic prowess. Rimuru's gluttonous King Bezelbuth stands out as a game-changer, granting him absorption capabilities that neutralize attacks. His God's Wrath Megiddo and Dark Flame Lightning bring devastating offensive power, making him nearly invincible. Rimuru's God's Wrath Megiddo rains down like a water-based apocalypse, focusing on Luffy with pinpoint precision. Luffy's rubbery resilience helps him dodge initially, but Rimuru's universal detect locks onto every move. As Luffy attempts to counterattack with his imaginative abilities, Rimuru's cancel pain keeps him unfazed by any pain or damage. But wait, it's not over yet. Rimuru unleashes the ultimate trump card, Dark Flame Lightning. This combination of dark flames and thunder strikes at Luffy's weaknesses, preventing his regeneration and leaving him vulnerable. In the end, Rimuru's strategic prowess, versatility, and sheer power give him the upper hand. Luffy's Gear 5 may be wild and fun, but Rimuru's array of abilities and tactical thinking make him the ultimate winner in this clash of powers.